What is up, everybody? It is Blair here. We're back and it's a rainy day outside, so got a garage project for hunting season. We're going to be redoing my whole 10-year-old Summit Viper climber stand. So if you got an old climber stand at home and you just really love it and you don't want to buy a new one, you're kind of attached to it like I am with mine, then we're going to do a restore on it. So got a bunch of new parts and we're going to throw them all together. We're going to repaint this thing and just do some upgrades, and I'll talk you through some ways you can make your stand better than when you get it from the factory. This is our project today. You can see we've got paint peeling all over this thing, which adds some shine to it. The brushing stuff on here, this camo material, is just literally pull right apart. When I drive down the road, it rips off and flies away. Straps are looking really haggard. They're pretty tore up. Got some holes in the seat. I mean, this thing's just in need of some real love. If you look, this is what will happen with your straps after a while, is they're gonna get shredded and they're gonna eventually pull off, and you just got this bare metal now, and that does not help hold against the tree as well as having them coated in rubber. So there you have it. That's gonna be the project today. We're gonna be upgrading it with these cables. We got some brand new cables, some really nice padded shoulder straps for those longer walk-ins, and this really nice Summit surround seat that has some cool extra features that your normal seat just does not come with. So stick around for this one, guys. I think you're really going to enjoy this. If you have a stand at home that you love, make sure to watch this one, because you can bring it back to life, and so much you can do to these things to just make them more efficient, better stands, and equaling more deer in the woods. So here we go. So our first step is to strip them down and get them all down to just the bare metal frame. We've got the seat off, the straps off, all that good stuff. We're leaving the cables on for now just because it helps hold them up to paint them, but we're going to be replacing those at the end. So the next step is we're going to sand all this down with just a green Brillo pad and some water. Just get all the loose paint knocked off of it. As you can see, it's starting to chip in places and things like that. So we want to sand all of that, and then we're going to coat it with a layer of vinegar water, which will acid etch the aluminum and make your paint stick like 10 times better. Trust me on that. Did it on John boats before, works great. Anything aluminum, and it works on other metals, but it works really well on aluminum. And so you can see all these little chips and dings all around this frame we're gonna fix. Deer hunting tip number 3,243. Take your ladder stands, climber stands, any sort of stand that you have that has aluminum tubing. Fill them full of spray foam. This will keep them from clanking when you bump them into things, when you're walking through the woods, when your gun taps it, anything like that. Greatly quiets it down. You'll still hear it, but it's not going to rattle super loud. It also takes some of the rattle out of your straps as well. So there you have it. Great way to improve an already awesome stand. You can do this with pretty much any of them. They're usually always open on the ends. All right, so the paints we're going to be using are just some that I had laying around the garage. It's just some Rust-Oleum and Krylon camouflage paint. It's ultra flat. It's oil based. Good stuff to use. Here's a secret for you. Spray in bed liner. This stuff right here, we're actually going to put on our treads. And that way it prevents your boots from slipping and sliding. When you get wet boots on this aluminum, sometimes it gets a little slippery. So this will take all that slippery out of it. Paint has been added. You can see we've just done a minimalist camo job here with just some rattle cans, just intermingling colors. So we got frame done here. And then we're gonna let this dry for 24 hours. We're gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna finish this thing up. 24 hours later, we are back in the garage. We've had time for the paint to cure. Everything's looking good on that front. I mean, it is a rattle can job, so I don't really care too much because it is going to get chipped up again. But we've added our XOP Deluxe backpack straps. These things feel really good. I already put it on my shoulder once and just felt them, and they feel really good. I feel like this is going to make a difference on long walks in. And they're also long enough to accommodate a deluxe seat. Sometimes with some of these straps, if you get ones that are shorter, you have to put like a mesh seat, like a hammock style seat in order to be able to use those backpack straps. So these do adjust long enough to not have to do that, which is great. Easy attachment, top, bottom, just like your old ones. It's just not single point at the top. They're just spread out, which I kind of like. Deluxe seat. We got the deluxe seat installed from Summit. It's called the surround seat. and it's beautiful. It's got pockets, Velcro, pocket. You can keep all your snacks, your calls, everything you want right here in your seat. And when you climb up there, because I really don't like toting a backpack on top of this stuff, so this allows me to put my stuff in here. You know what I don't put in my pockets, just some odds and ends, maybe, like I said, snacks. And it also has side bolsters that have a little bit of padding, but it'll provide a lot of wind protection, which is great. The seat is about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch thicker than my old seat, so that's going to be a lot more comfortable. The back's got a lot more padding. It's just all around a much better built seat. I kind of feel like Summit just needs to start throwing these things in with their tree stands. But there you go. We got everything put together except for the pads. We're going to be putting the old pads back on because I did not order new ones of those. They're still in good enough shape to use for at least another couple years. So we're going to put new zip ties, put those back on, and then some new cables, and that should finish off our build. All right, here it is, finished product, guys. Shooting rails back on, the pad there, the armrest pads are back on. Use some nice pretty green zip ties to tie all that in. Make sure you snip them down so they don't get stuck on stuff. Well, there it is, got the straps, Deluxe seat. If you look, this thing buttons closed, so all your stuff that's in those pockets is actually folded up right now. Nothing could fall out even if it wanted to, even if there was no Velcro closures. And yeah, she's ready to roll for another 10 years. Just goes to show you can breathe a little life in these old stands for about $100 and you're good to go. Get another 10 years out of this puppy.